Hey there guys, hoy, welcome back to another awesome video. It's time for another top 10 video. And for today's top 10 video is going to be the top 10 best movies of 2020. Because we deserve a little bit of good things to remember about 2020. Definitely, for sure, especially with how rough of a year 2020 was. Let's try and at least look back on some good things that were good about 2020. And at least movies were good for 2020, for the most part. But for this list, let's look at my personal favorites of the best movies and what I thought were the best movies of 2020. Now, have I seen all of 2020 movies? No. But these are the ones that I saw that I thought were the best. And these are some that I may or may not have yet to see yet. So bear in mind that as well. But like I said, these are just, in my opinion, the best, I think, of this year. And let me know in the comments, what are your favorite movies of 2020? And without further ado, let's jump into it. And at number 10, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Definitely, this was a great way to bring back video game movies and have that idea that, hey, video game movies can be good, because we've had some bad ones and some pretty shitty ones in the past years. And with Sonic, it wasn't the most redeeming thing, but like, it at least gave us a little bit of hope, saying that, hey, video game movies can be good and they can be fun, especially when you have like this movie here with Ben Schwartz and James Marsden, and of course we got Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. All types of fun, and definitely can't wait for, hopefully Sonic 2 can come out. Hopefully Sonic 2 will be coming out, what was it, Christmas of 2021 or 2022? Whenever the sequel will be coming out, can't wait to find out on Christmas. And at number 9, we have Bill and Ted Face the Music. This was a surprise and a great way to see these two back with Bill Esquire and Theodore Ted Logan. These guys were fun to see. Both Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves were fun as their reprised roles, and this was just a fun movie and a blast to have, and just two blasts from the past that we needed in a year like 2020. And Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter were there for us during this whole situation, and just how much it was very, not just a fun movie, but it really kind of brought up a good thing about, I guess, peace in a way. So there's that. But then again, it's always been about be excellent to each other and party on. And at number 8, we have Just Mercy. I want to clarify that this came out around like late 2019, early 2020. So that way this kind of movie sort of slides into this spot. So I was lucky to see this early 2020, and honestly, like I said before, I'll say it again, it does feel very uncomfortable, but it makes you, it's a good, not a good way to feel uncomfortable, but it makes you really feel for Jamie Foxx. It makes you feel for Michael B. Jordan. Their characters trying to obviously convince the jury of the court that this isn't Jamie Foxx's character's fault. I forgot even his name, but not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that it makes you feel uncomfortable when he's in this, basically in this position that all evidence shows that he's guilty, when there is clear evidence that it wasn't him all along. So you're really just, you're buying into the great performances and just how powerful that feeling is. At number 7, The Devil All the Time. So this was definitely, by far, a very interesting Netflix movie for me. Definitely gave you a different feel of not everyone is very wholesome, and that's a different way to look at people, and not to look at people in general, but it just this movie gave you that feel, and it just gave stellar performances from Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan, all around, Jason Clarke. Everybody was pretty phenomenal in this film, and really it was just about survival, and it was just pretty stellar for sure. At number 6, we have The Gentleman. Definitely a great redemption for Guy Ritchie, because obviously how not so successful 2019's Aladdin was, both critically and box office financially. So it's great to see Ritchie at the return of his prime, doing things like these types of movies like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, like I said, and just these really interesting characters, from McConaughey to Charlie Hunnam to Colin Farrell, and all across the board. Alright, we're nearing down our final 5 of my list, and at number 5 of my list is Onward Soul. I know this is kind of cheating here, but I really had a hard time deciding which one I liked more. And honestly, Pixar was at their A game this year, and it was phenomenal. Both of these movies had me just in tears. One was just such a fun journey with two brothers that just became this emotional, ride. And Soul really just tug on your strings about just grasping life in a way. And both these movies made me want to cry in the best way. I don't mean it in a bad way, I mean it in a good way, because Pixar really knows how to make you really tug on your heartstrings and really just feel for those characters. And I couldn't help but feel for both these movies. They were both phenomenal, well animated, and I'm excited for more original content from Pixar from this point on to the future and beyond. And at number 4, we have Tenet. Tenet was definitely a very interesting direction for Christopher Nolan, and especially with the interesting concept of how he demonstrated time throughout this movie. And I was just mind blown by this movie. Was I mind blown like Inception mind blown? Or mind blown like Interstellar mind blown? Or Dark Knight Trilogy's mind blown? Yes, but I wouldn't go ahead saying this is the best Nolan movie. I would still argue probably those 3 I mentioned before are his good films, but definitely this would be up there in top 5, top 10 Nolan movies. And this one was great with David Washington and again Robert Pattinson, a surprise for me. And I'm glad to I'm seeing more of Pattinson performances that are actually good, so maybe there is hope for Pattinson. I might just think he could be a good Batman, but not the point. It just, without spoiling Tenet, this really delved into a really interesting way of time, and just also to really interesting visuals and a stellar just scope of the film and the way Nolan directs. At number 3 is Da 5 Bloods, a phenomenal Spike Lee movie, especially with his success coming off of BlacKkKlansman. Now he's got this great movie here with a fantastic ensemble of a cast, and as much as the ensemble is fantastic and they do really carry this movie out, and the fact that this film does feel very ominous of movies like Platoon and Apocalypse Now, very phenomenal, great war movies as well. This also gave us one of Chadwick Boseman's final performances, and that is definitely the huge highlight of this movie, without a shadow of a doubt. He may not be carrying this movie, but you can definitely feel like Chadwick is carrying this film, along with everybody else along with him. At number 2 is Batman, The Death in the Family. This is a animated Batman movie, basically like a prequel, sequel, sort of like tie-in to Under the Red Hood, but not the point I'm trying to make. And although the animation is top-notch and it feels like out of like the Under the Red Hood film with voices like John DiMaggio and of course Bruce Greenwood as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, but also the fact that this is a very different animated movie where they give you that sort of choice of how you want to tell the story and the different multiple choices and options you want to go throughout the story. And I may have not gone through all the options and through all the stories, but I love that idea that they basically kind of took the idea, almost like the comic book did with Death in the Family, of that, okay, you choose whether Jason Todd dies or if Jason Todd lives, and how that affects later on. And you see those effects happen if Jason lived, and how this would have happened, and this outcome and this type of outcome happen. It's just, this is, I think, could be something not necessarily groundbreaking, but I think this could be almost groundbreaking for film or animation. But before I unveil my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Project Power, another Netflix original movie, and there's going to be quite a bit of Netflix original movies along with some other ones that have been on streaming and all this other stuff because of just how the pandemic has been. But Project Power may not be like best picture or anything, but this was a really cool movie, and it had an interesting concept, and you definitely have Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, so you can't go wrong with a film like that. Love and Monsters. This I heard quite a bit about, especially because of Dylan O'Brien. And Dylan O'Brien has been really doing well in his career in that he can really pull off almost anything here. He can pull off a young kid, or he can pull off an older guy, and just how youthful he is, I think. But the point I'm trying to make is that he really played well in this movie alongside Michael Rooker, and the visuals definitely played a small part in how interesting this was. And this wasn't just about some guy and just visuals. It really had an interesting story and a good sort of, I guess, emotional aspect to it too. The Invisible Man. I haven't gotten the chance to review this movie yet, but I was planning to, and I maybe will after this year is over, definitely for sure. And I just how much this has been doing so well, and this is definitely very different from your Universal monster like movie, and this was just very very thriller-esque, and I like that, and especially of just our lead actress and how the Invisible Man was played out too. Over the Moon. I haven't gotten the chance to see Over the Moon, but I heard quite a bit about it and just how beautifully animated it looks, and honestly, it looks beautifully animated. Mank. And of all the directors that have been making a comeback this year, from, like I've said, the likes of Christopher Nolan, Spike Lee, and Guy Ritchie, I would have not thought of David Fincher making such a comeback. And he made such a interesting comeback with this movie, the way he's directed it, and of course, no surprise, our lead actor being Gary Oldman. And that it feels like Gary Oldman is definitely carrying this movie on his shoulders with David Fincher in the director chair. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets a lot of Oscar buzz. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I know for a fact that I wouldn't be surprised if this movie becomes very phenomenal because of two things. Obviously, Viola Davis's performance, and this being Chadwick Boseman's movie too. And this also being Chadwick Boseman's final outing on the big screen. And now, my number one pick of my top 10 best movies of 2020 is, drumroll please, Hamilton! Now, I'm definitely gonna say for a fact that I am one of those people that never got to see this actually got the chance or opportunity to see the actual show on Broadway or anywhere, like in terms of an actual theater or play or anything like that. But I have obviously listened to the soundtrack, and I fell in love with the soundtrack, and I've fallen in love with this even more, especially with this being this type of movie here. The way this is, the whole like Broadway feel, the very like theatrical sort of style is very different from how films are usually shot. This is obviously shot off, like they shot it, recorded it from the actual studio or from the actual theater they performed it at, and that's very different. That's very unique. And this is such a phenomenal movie. And we all knew that Hamilton is very phenomenal from the start, but it just cranked it up to 11 once this movie came out, and it just became such a even bigger phenomenon because of this. It was a phenomenon from the start, and it's still a phenomenon. I love Hamilton, not only because I was a part of theater, I'm a big fan of theater and musicals and just film, but also just, this is all around phenomenal. And it's so great that I actually saw this movie 4 times this year. I literally watched this movie not once, not twice, 4 times, almost 5 times this year. And that is saying quite a lot within the year. But those are my favorite movies of 2020. Let me know in the comments, like I said, you guys, what are your favorite movies of 2020? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do awesome videos every day, if not every week. And make sure you ring that bell to be notified. I do new videos every day, if not every week. Share the video with family and friends. And also leave some suggestions for any top 10s, any movie reviews, TV show reviews, comic reviews, vlogs, Q&As, live streams, any of that stuff. I'll look into it as soon as possible. Start doing other things as well. Start doing maybe trying to maybe get back to doing gaming again, maybe get back into doing reaction videos, all that good stuff, and more. Look out, since we've done the best of 2020, unfortunately we're going to have to go through the worst of 2020, so look out for that. I think probably later this evening, because I will have this scheduled for the 30th at 11 a.m. Look forward to my worst movies of 2020 later that evening or later this evening. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a happy new year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.